We ran, and we ran right into objectivism.
Yes.
Don't
dismiss us.
Do not dismiss us. This is actually quite fantastic. Do not dismiss her. Do not smear this woman.
Right.
She was onto something here. Do not let...
It's so sad when you read articles that they feel like there's a CBS article, CBS News, where they say how horrible she is. And the whole thing is her personal life.
Why you gotta... That's the
so
thing.
mean.
That's where you gotta dive to, because you can't deal with the rationale behind what she's saying that's actually beneficial. You got to go attack her on a personal level because her relationships weren't working out. Grow up.
One. But we've all had one relationship that didn't work out.
Grow up.
CBS, why are you putting that bullshit out there?
You want to know why? Because what she was saying is
powerful.
powerful.
How about go against her philosophical views and then rationally and factually put an objective. I will read that for sure, 100%.
But there's nothing around there.
So we're getting into the metaphysical part, and we went through 1 and 2. You guys will need to listen to that. Next one, the third one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
She uses my favorite word too.
And that
starts
is?
with a D. There's no dichotomy.
Ooh.
There's no dichotomy between mind and body, matter and spirit.
Let's talk about dichotomy. A division or contrast between two things that are or are represented as being opposed or entirely different.
So there's no dichotomy between mind and body, matter and spirit.
No, they're all one and the same. Don't call them all different things. It's all one. Nailed it, Ann. You nailed it.
Then the last one is?
You nailed it, Ann.
The last one is we have free will.
Oh, we.
We have free will.
Not I have free will. We have free will. She understands the reality of oneness. She understands that we are responsible to make these choices. It's beholden to you. You have the free will. You live here in this moment of existence with this life, and you have the free will to make choices within that objective reality. That is an objective thing. You have free will. At the absolute end of the day, whatever day that may be, and I know you love saying that.
At the end of the day,
the choice is always yours.
Always.
Always yours. Never will anyone be able to take away your free will.
And if they are, and you told me this a long time ago and it so resonated, if anything goes against your free will, then, I mean, I use the word wrong, but, you know, if anything is imposing on your free will, whether it's extraterrestrial or whatever it may be, it's wrong.
It's just flat out wrong.
I mean, yeah.
It's not doesn't align with nature, creation, or you and your own existence.
So if a religion or a nation state imposes on your free will, goodbye.
Or a significant other.
Yeah. Oh, we can get real personal there. Yeah.
Or
a father, a mother.
Anything. Yeah.
So objective reality. She says the concept of objectivity has different but related meanings in each branch of philosophy. In metaphysics, say that something is objective means that it exists in the world independent of our minds. It doesn't depend on what we think or feel about it or whether we know about it in the first place. This is what we mean when we say there's an objective reality or something that is an objective fact. We are contrasting what's objective with what is subjective, with what is in our minds, thoughts, feelings, desire, etc. The vast terrain of existence, from deserts to swamps, from atoms to galaxies, from primitive life forms to human beings, from cells to society, includes things that differ in every way. But there are two things we can say about each and every one of them.
They have an identity.
It has some identity. That's one.
There you go.
And it exists.
Oh, look at that. Is that there? It is. Does it have an identity? It's a swamp? Yes, it does.
She says existence and identity are two fundamental concepts that apply to everything.
Okay. Am I a human being? Yes, that's my identity. Do I exist? I'm right here in front of you right now. Bang.
No matter how your emotions are feeling.
I don't care what it is about your emotions or what else is going on, what political, religious thing. I am a human being, identified as one, even at a biological level. I'm a human being, and I am right here in front of you.
Yeah. She says the axiom of existence doesn't tell us what things exist.
Axiom?
The axiom of existence doesn't tell us what things exist. It says only that things do exist. The axiom of identity doesn't tell us what properties a given thing has. It says only that whatever properties it has those and not others. A is A. Nothing can be both A and not A.
What could be both A and not A? Can you bring me through this again?
The axiom of identity doesn't tell us what properties a given thing has.
No.
It says only that whatever properties it has those and not others.
Right. I'm a human being. I have the properties of human being, not of dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Not of swamp.
A is A. Nothing can be both A and not A. And we're trying to, in societies now, we're trying to relabel and rechange everything, but A is an A.
No.
Yeah.
It's this or it's that or it's whatever you define it as.
Yeah.
Remember we did all those episodes on symbols?
Mm-hmm.
It's a fucking symbol. It's meant something since time immemorial.
Yes.
And then when I start to retune that, it's actually untruthful. It's not something that's timeless. So that couldn't be a truthful representation of that symbol.
Right.
Correct? If I have a distance from here to here, regardless of the measure, it's a distance. Is it not?
Yes.
Okay, great.
No matter what meaning we give to it, a symbol is a symbol, and use the peace symbol. It's death.
It's the
we had tied a different meaning to it through Woodstock.
Yep.
In the 70s and stuff, but the symbol's the symbol.
It's an elder Futhark. It's the symbol of death.
Tibetan monks were using the Nazi symbol way before the Nazis decided to take it.
And it has to do with a beautiful aspect of life.
Yeah.
Until the Nazis chose to say it was something else.
Yeah.
But for all of time, that's really not what its definition is.
No.
When you do the peace symbol to somebody, do you put your fingers down like this?
No,
they do it up. Oh, well, then why the fuck is the symbol going in the other direction? You're hypocritical just in this here alone.
Yeah, exactly. These axioms cannot be proven, but they are not arbitrary. They are self-evident, revealed in every form of awareness.
There's a quote in Ra. I offer you truth without proof. So think about what I just said. I offer you truth without proof. Axioms are about having a proof.
Right.
So now reread that same thing right there.
They are self-evident, revealed in every form of awareness.
They are self-evident.
Right.
It doesn't really need the axiom. It doesn't need the proof. It's self-evident. It's there.
From the simplest sensation to the most advanced scientific theory, there is always something we are aware of, something that exists. And that something is something in particular. It has some identity. The law of identity has an important implication about action. This is where I love. Listen to this. A thing cannot act in contradiction to its nature. A rock can't roll downhill but not uphill. Actions do not happen randomly. Actions have causes, gravity, force, reaction, etc.
Okay, let's slow down because there's, as the world likes to say, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Go back to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
No thing can do what? Something that's contradictory to what?
There is always something we are aware of, something that exists, and that something is something in particular. It has some identity. The law of identity has an important implication about action. A thing cannot act in contradiction to its nature.
All right, stop. A thing, whatever it is, cannot do something outside of its nature, outside of what is natural, outside of what creation has determined is law. You can't do stuff outside of it. And if something happens outside of it, what you perceive to be outside is not. It is then a part of nature. Does that make sense? Is that clear? Whether it's a rock, a human being, the sun, an atom, it is bound by the same laws that you and I are bound by. We are a thing of creation. Regardless of what that thing is, we are a thing of creation. That identity of being thing determines our actions cannot sit outside of that natural realm. That's the absolute. Does that fundamentally make sense?
If we understood that as humans, all 7 billion of us, then that would bear the responsibility for us to change our action.
Yes.
This is great. Listen, so we just did the law of identity. Now she's going to do the law of causality.
Oh, we love the law of causality. We've talked about this. Yeah. Go ahead.
They are caused by the nature of the entities that act and the circumstances in which they act, which consist of other entities. As a consequence, the same thing in the same circumstances will act the same way.
Can we
You can't change that.
No. Okay.
That's the law of causality.
Tell me about can you use the billiard ball thing? Is that coming up here?
Yeah, it's coming up here, yeah.
Because
Go ahead and throw it out there, though.
This is great. If I have billiard balls on a table, they don't just fly into the pockets, do they? No, I have to get the cue and I have to hit it. It requires cause and effect, action, reaction, action, interaction. I have to get those there. Within this system, this is how they function.
Right.
Until introduced to the next system, which is my cue. And my cue guides it where it needs to go.
Yeah, this is the law of causality and underlines our everyday knowledge of how things behave, as well as scientific theories about atoms, genes, disease, on and on.
Everything behaves in perfect cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
There is a completely logical, linear chain of cause and effect for everything we do. Us talking here, the way we breathe, how it's recycled on this planet, the way an atom seats itself in the electromagnetic spectrum, all these different things. All of them. It's a perfect chain of cause and effect. The vibration coming out of my voice box creating these sounds is cause and effect. Cause, I have a thought to say something. Effect, vibrate vocal cords, change structure of mouth, produce sound that is recognized as word, then have that received as thought by another. Perfect cause and effect every single time. Humanity grows. We create too much waste. Earth gets sick. Perfect cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
Sun goes up. Light comes out. Sun goes down. Darkness resides. Perfect cause and effect. This is what it is. It's a world of equilibrium and balance everywhere. And we are all interacting in each other's causes and effects.
So remember Batman versus Superman?
I actually did not watch that DC comic.
Yeah, they have the
movie.
new one on HBO Cinemax. It's 4 hours long, which is really good. I watched it.
It's that good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Damn.
You should watch it. So here's a versus. So it was Batman versus Superman. Mm-hmm. She says natural versus supernatural.
Oh, gosh.
So she's versing it, which I love. The term nature, in the broadest sense, refers to the world of physical objects that exist in space and time. It's the world we perceive and can study by rational methods.
Right.
In the widest sense, the term does not mean just the nature we enjoy in a park. It doesn't mean natural as opposed to human artificial. The term means the world, reality, existence. But it highlights the fact that things have natures, identities, and interact in accordance with causal law.
Right. It's
which
here.
you just said, yeah.
It's now. It's interacting. It has identity, regardless of what it is. I can walk up the mountain, and if I kick a rock by accident, I have interacted with it. That rock tumbles because of the way our natural laws are set up. I don't kick the rock and it just floats in the air and just happens to just be floating around, because that's not how that law works here within our natural realm.
She says many philosophies propose a realm of existence beyond nature, a supernatural realm. Most major religions have personal gods or gods along with angels and other spirits and a heaven where we have some kind of life after death. Objectivism disagrees with any notion of the supernatural as incompatible with the objectivity and regularity of nature.
How do I say this? If we look at religions, if we understand religions, they create a god, and this god has certain abilities that seemingly sit outside of the human realm. Correct? Okay. So that would be something that is supernatural. But she's saying that all things are natural. So that God that you are talking about in your religion could not exist, because it actually objectively doesn't sit within the laws that we are all bound by.
Well, she uses an example, and this will be really good. For example, the miracles related in Greek myths in the Bible and the Quran, like the sun standing still for Joshua,
I talked about miracles.
would contradict the idea of cause and effect and imply that objects in nature, like the sun, do not necessarily act in accordance with their natures. So you look at that story cannot be true.
No, it's not.
It could be a myth and talk about,
but people take
maybe
it
there's
as,
maybe there's an important part about that where time,
it's God's spoken word. That's how people take it. The sun don't stand still. It's a cycle every single time. If the sun is standing still, that means the earth stops spinning.
Yeah, objectivism, this is very, very important. I want you to talk about. Objectivism holds that things in nature are created and destroyed through natural processes.
Yes.
But the existence of this world itself is self-evident.
That's correct. Even though things come and go, this world, this universe, this creation still exists. That is self-evident. When you and I come and go and we go back into the ground and maggots are eating through our body and whatever, and our spirit, the energetic substance of our body has left this physical self, this thing still keeps going. It still continues.
Here's the part I think people would get pissed. Listen to this. She's talking about the self-evident part. It does not require an explanation by anything outside itself.
Why would it? Why would it? People get crazy trying to explain things, say what it's just let it be what it is. Stop trying to say it's something else, or like go to a religious text and then have it define it for you. Oh, what really is a rock? It's a rock. It's a piece of creation. It is a thing of creation. That's what it is. Oh, what is a human being? What is gender? What is sex? What is a dog to us? What does it mean to eat food this way or not eat food or kill animals or kill people? It's just look at it objectively. Mm-hmm. You're killing a human being. You're killing an animal. Either ingesting it for food or you're doing these things for pleasure. Be objective about it. It's just what they are.
Do you remember when she talked about happiness and that's the main objective of every man? Well, she's going to explain that here, which makes sense to me. But in contrast to the view of nature as a cold and meaningless realm, objectivism holds that we live in a benevolent universe.
Of course. If the universe wasn't benevolent, you wouldn't see life springing up everywhere. It's designed to have life flourish. Why do atoms try and come together? Why do molecules try to bond? It's life wanting to evolve all the time. It's life finding unity constantly.
The cactus in the rock when you were climbing.
The cactus in the rock. There is life everywhere. It's what this universe was designed for. And whether we see it as cold because we don't recognize that life springs up everywhere, we're too blind to see it, well, that's on you and your little axiom of what you think is reality. But in truth, objectively, looking at these things, it was designed for life.
This statement gave me chills, literally gave me chills when I read this a couple days ago. And it's changed me. So this is, for me, this was like hit me really hard. We are beings well adapted to the real world in which we live, with the freedom to carve our own path and the ability to achieve happiness. I mean, really think about that. It's so fucking liberating.
Oh, it's fantastic. And for people to bash on her for just telling people these
We have a benevolent universe that wants us to thrive.
It wants you to evolve.
Yes.
Everything is designed for evolution. People say, what is the meaning of life? The meaning of life is to evolve. That's what it is.
What do you want to do? What are you passionate about? What do you love? You have the ability to do that.
You talked about your friend, how he was teaching his kids.
Yeah.
Talk about this for a second. This is a great metaphor.
This is unlearning. So they decided, because they learned through COVID, and a lot of people are doing this, they decided to just not go back to school and keep them at home, because they started this whole, then there's websites on it online. They started this whole process of saying, oh, okay, you're 7 and 9, 2 boys, 7 and 9. What are you passionate about? What do you want to learn? Well, Dad, I really want to learn coding. And then, Dad, I really want to understand history more. Oh, okay, perfect. We're going to go 100% in that direction. Mm-hmm. Not only are we going to have books for you to read, and I'm going to get books for you and all that. And this was the key. He said, we're going to find books that have different viewpoints so you can understand them. And then they make book reports and they talk about it at dinner time. That's a conversation when they eat a meal together.
I love that.
Instead of watching TV and everybody's eating on the fly and running all around. Dad, I got this. Okay, thanks, Mom. They're sitting down at a table and discussing philosophy. And then on top of that, they do trips. Like they did a history trip for Lewis and Clark.
Lewis and Clark. So what did they do? The kids are passionate about history.
Right.
They're studying Lewis and Clark. let's physically go to where Lewis and Clark were. Let's go check this stuff out.
Let's see the rivers that they had to traverse.
Think
through.
about the impact and impression of that experience when someone's passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
That child will never forget that.
No.
They were not forced to go and memorize something. You ask them, what experience do you want to be a part of? And they said, this one. Good. Let's go experience it. The learning that happens there is completely different. Why is it that when so many people go out and travel, when they're traveling the world or backpacking, why is it that's the one thing they remember their entire lives? Because that's an experience they were passionate about. Mm-hmm. They wanted to go do it. They wanted to go learn. When the mind is open for that evolution of learning, the capacity to take in knowledge objectively and then apply it through that experience makes people wise in those subsets of the things they really care about.
Well, whenever she said, with the freedom to carve our own path, I began to think of the word carve. And I began to think of like suffering and love. Like you wouldn't know love if you didn't have suffering. You wouldn't know, and I was like, we're so against carving. Our society is so like, we want to give everything to everyone so they don't have to carve.
It's just a slippery, frictionless surface.
But we get meaning and purpose out of carving.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
When we have what she's saying is you have the freedom to carve your individual path.
Yes.
But you've got to carve. It's going to require a lot of fucking work.
And responsibility.
Yes.
And you got to make the choice to carve. Pick the tool up.
Yes.
Whether it be your mind or something else, and start carving. This is where I want to go.
And appreciate that. Because when man works, and we've all experienced this, when we become super passionate about something and we're working, we're doing that thing, that work, and something goes well that we perceive as going well, like whether you're an artist and you make a masterpiece and you stand back and say, I created this, holy shit. That is happiness, like she said. That's achieving. I achieved happiness.
Yeah.
By my carving, by me putting in the work, I achieved my happiness.
Correct.
You didn't fucking tell me how my happiness should be. I did this.
You took on self-responsibility.
Yes.
You took on your free will. You took on the energy and your capacity to live and your identity.
And a benevolent universe.
And you did something to improve who you are. What are you going to do? You're going to shout from the rooftops and tell everybody this is the path you should be taking.
How would you be emotionally if you're living that life where you're working hard and you're being passionate and you're living for your happiness and you're carving your own path, the people that are around you, you're going to be an inspiration to them.
Why? Because you are being the best you could possibly
Yes.
be. You are a walking, breathing, living, golden, shimmering example of what it means to be a human being. That's what we need to strive for. Because you are life. That's what's missed. And when people are like, wow, look at that person doing something, they're life. They are life. They are evolving. And you're sitting here stagnant. And when you watch that and you dream about doing that, go pick up the tool and start carving.
I don't see how this could be such a greed, capitalistic, nasty, dark, cold, maybe because of Atlas Shrugged, it was kind of put in the 1920s with industrial, era and all that. But this is so beautiful. This is love in and of itself. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like loving yourself and knowing that you have the ability to be able to accomplish whatever you're passionate about and whatever you work for, and having that freedom, like she uses that word, dude, that gives me so much energy. Like automatically, I'm feeling this vibratory energy to just create and do.
What you're feeling is life.
Yes, exactly.
We want everybody to feel that. Why do you think you're so impassioned to speak about it on a microphone here?
I don't need a fucking angel for me to do this.
No, I don't. And I don't need them to vet and say I'm special.
And I don't need the church to tell me what my path is.
No, I don't.
It's my path.
And I don't need to tell them what's black and white and what's right and wrong for me. I can figure that out. That's up to me. I'm responsible. I'm alive. That's incredible enough. And I have plenty of things around me to determine what is right from wrong.